Action. Hey everybody, Ed here, W4EMB. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be crimping an end on a piece of coax with these crimp-on ends. I've never used crimp-on ends before, but I made a test one here before I started the video to make sure I could do it. So we're going to go ahead and do one on film now. So let's talk about the steps and some of the tools. Of course, you need your crimper, you need your heat shrink, you need wire stripper, some solder gun, pair of pliers, and of course the coax. So alright, so here's our crimp-on end. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the screw-on portion. We're going to send it down the wire. We're also going to send down the wire our heat shrink. And we're also going to place down the wire our ferrule. That's the part that will be crimped. Okay? Now you want to do that because once you put the end on, you won't be able to put down the other two things. Okay. This piece right here, if we measure this is just about an inch long. So the knurled part here is the part that the shield will be wrapped around, and that's where the crimped on ferrule is going to be. It's going to be crimped onto that knurled knob portion. So therefore everything from here up is going to be center conductor. So if we measure that area, it comes out to be 3/4 of an inch when I measure that from right here to the tip of there. So we're going to go ahead and take our coax. We're going to measure out 3/4 of an inch, maybe just a smidge more than that. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and mark that with my thumbnail. I'm going to take my strippers here. Now my strippers have two places, one place here, one place here. The first place has the blade protrudes farther and will go all the way through the jacket, the shield, and the dielectric, and hopefully stopping at the center conductor. So let's go ahead and do that piece. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and spin that about 2 times, I guess. Okay, and now that we've made it that far, I'll give that a twist and pull at the same time. Okay, all right, so we didn't quite make it through the dielectric, but we got off the jacket and the shield. So we'll go ahead and we'll carefully, making sure that we don't cut into the center shield, we're going to go ahead and score this dielectric a bit and see if we can get that to come off there. There we go. Okay, and again, you want to make sure that you don't cut into your center conductor, just that white dielectric section. There we go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and give that a good twist. The reason we give it a good twist is so that it can fit up inside there without getting hung up and bending any of the strands backwards. Alright, now that we've cut off about 3/4 of an inch of all the insulation and shield, we're going to go ahead, now we're going to go about 1/4 of an inch, and we're going to take off just the jacket for 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so there we go, and about 1 time around or so, and that should take us just through the black jacket of the coax. And we'll pull that off, and there we go. So we have our center conductor and our copper jacket, and then the shield down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to peel back this copper jacket. Now that we've peeled back that copper jacket, I'm going to straighten it out, unbraid it just a little bit, so that when I go to slide the ferrule up, the ferrule doesn't have to go over the humps so much. Okay, not a whole lot, just enough to make the ferrule slide on easier. Okay, so now we've peeled that back. So let's go ahead and get a good test fit of this inside of here. Okay, all right, and then I can see that it came out right where I need it to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take my flux paste here, and just some old Allen soldering paste that I have, and I'm going to just poke that down in there, straight down a couple times, hopefully getting that up in the strands there a bit. I'll go ahead and use my spool of coax as my helping hands. Okay, got our soldering iron. I'll go ahead and just touch that paste just a wee bit. See if it's getting warm. Okay. All right, there we go. There. I'm keeping my trigger held down, and when I do, I have my steel wool here, and I put it on the end, squeeze and pull, squeeze and pull. Clean off my soldering gun there a bit. Put that back in my cup. Okay, and now that tinned the end of that wire without making any kind of lumps, bumps, or anything that's gonna not want to fit up inside of here, right? So I just wanted to tin that so maybe I don't have to put so much heat to the center conductor of this later. So let's go ahead and push that down on there. But before we do anything else, we just want to make sure that we got our, of course that's the part we're going to crimp on, so it has to be on there. But there's our heat shrink, and then there's our threads there. All right, so we know that everything's on there. Let's go ahead and bring up our ferrule. Our ferrule, we're going to be applying down pressure here and push up on the coax shield now, placing the shield up on top of that knurled section. Okay, now that it's up there, we'll go ahead and slide this ferrule up and over that. All this whole time I am pushing down. I'm pushing downward pressure on this and then getting the ferrule up against it and pushing the coax in at the same time to make sure that the coax doesn't pull away. Right, and I can still see the tip of my coax right there in the end, just right where I want it to be. Now we're going to go ahead and take our crimpers, and we're using the .255 section. Okay, it's a little six-sided shape down in there. It's the biggest one on this set of crimpers. So we'll go ahead and open those up, and I'm going to lay this in here, pulling it back to the stop, but I'm also applying downward pressure on the tip, and I'm also pushing up on the coax to make sure that everything stays seated, and it's seated in there all the way. I'll just use the table to help me out and push down. Now I can see that my ferrule has been crimped evenly, 6 different sides there, all crimped up. Okay, and the tip of my coax is still right there where I want it. Might be a little bit hard to see on camera. Okay, and then the other thing, let's go ahead and slide our heat shrink up. Get that over top of our ferrule. There we go. Now, you know, I left my heat gun downstairs, but I have my trusty old 3-burner butane gas station torch. Keeping it moving. I don't want to ever just stop. That'll be good enough for the now. Okay, last step we need just to slide our threads up. And there we go. All ready for me to go ahead and solder these ends. So, that's how we do the crimp-on connector. Thanks for watching, folks.